Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anan Nariman, coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime studio. First up, over 2,000 registrations have been issued under the India Handloom brand for over 184 different product categories. The India Handloom brand was launched back in August 2015 to brand high-quality handloom products with zero defects and no ill effects on the environment. Backed by robust government measures, the domestic electronic manufacturing services market is poised to grow at a 32% compound annual growth rate in the financial year 22 to financial year 27 period to reach $72.2 billion, ladies and gentlemen. So Bharat's growth story continues even as the nation signs the first ever green ammonia export agreement with Japan. This marks a step forward in Bharat's journey to becoming a global leader in green hydrogen and ammonia production. And according to a report by Helios, an India-focused Singapore-based asset management company, Indian stock market outperformed the world's richest investor, Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, in the last 25 years. And as Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a visit to Poland and Ukraine, European Parliament members have called our PM's visit to Poland very important due to the politics and also business that prevails and the current atmosphere there in Eastern Europe. The PM's visit will be the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Poland in 45 years. He's already there in Poland. He's going to be there till tomorrow afternoon before he embarks on a train to Kiev, the capital in Ukraine. Let us now focus closer on the issue at hand, ladies and gentlemen. The big story, the outrage over the ghastly rape and murder of the trainee doctor at the RG Medical College in Kolkata continues to gain momentum. Protests that started last week are continuing unabated, and even today there were multiple people from all walks of life who were out there in the streets of Kolkata protesting, demanding justice. They did not want to. Most of these rallies were not organized by political parties, but people from all walks of life, most importantly the middle class, which comes out and said that they are sick and tired of what's going on. They just want justice. They want the system to uphold and stand up for the common people. And this has been going on, and people say till the time that's happening, we will not rest, and these protests will continue. 11 days, and this continues, ladies and gentlemen, be it normal people from all walks of life, advocates, students, and also now today film stars have now come out demanding justice for Abhaya. Most importantly, in the far column that you see, that's the latest letter that's been written by more than 200 signatories. Diplomats, bureaucrats, people from all walks of life, and more importantly, influential people, even judges, have penned an emotional letter seeking justice, saying that it's a wake-up call to prioritize women's safety. Now let's try and understand this. 20 judges, 110 bureaucrats, 13 ambassadors, 165 armed forces officers have written this letter, and where they have come out and said, yes, 20 judges, 165 armed forces, 13 ambassadors, 110 bureaucrats. This is the total number of people who have written this letter. Let's just call that letter up, and I just quickly want to read out what's written there. Let's go back to that letter if we can on our screens. Just call the letter back here on the screen, please. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, on the wall, please. Yes. So what are the specific recommendations? Increase patrolling and security personnel in areas where doctors are on the night duty or on night duty. Provide separate and adequate washrooms for female and male doctors. Install functional intercom systems in doctors' rooms with emergency SOS features. Conduct thorough investigations into the administrative heads of institutions to assess their role in ensuring the safety of their staff. Reassess and reform the entire system to address the systemic failures that contribute to such tragedies. The demoralization caused by this incident could have far-reaching consequences for the medical profession. It is crucial for policymakers in West Bengal to take decisive action to restore confidence and ensure the safety of healthcare workers. The big blot over people in authority. We strongly believe that such incidents expose a darker side of society, how children are brought up and what education imparts upon them, and if we are going in the right direction in the human race overall. So a larger concern also voiced by these people who have written the entire history, and they have come out and said it's a cry for justice. Most importantly, it's titled, "It's a Cry for Justice." dated 21st of August 2024. It says a cry for justice, and these are people who have signed this, people of eminence who have signed this and said time to do something about this. We'll speak with film director Sil in just a bit. He also is one of the protesters, and he's also called out for justice for Abhaya. But more importantly, let's try and understand this. This is not the first time. Why is it that here on the right stand we are asking, have the real villains been shielded? The real villain in this case is the ex-principal Sandeep Ghosh and perhaps his coterie in that RG Medical Hospital. Why? Have a look at this letter, ladies and gentlemen. It is dated the 30th of October 2023. It does come from the state BJP president now and Shukanta Majumdar, who is the member of parliament Balurghat Lok Sabha at that point in time. Why is this important? It is important because it says urgent, and it's written to the address to the governor of the state of Bengal, CV Ananda Bose, alleged irregularities in all medical colleges, especially the RG Medical College. So he's alleged and he cited 6 discrepancies where he said, I hope this finds you in good health. Let's try and look this. And there, I'm specifically writing for alleged irregularities and corruption starting from the Swasthya Bhavan, Health Ministry, Swasthya Bhavan, and spread all across the state in the administrative and educational level, specifically at the RG Medical College. And he's named Professor Sandeep Ghosh, the principal. What is it that he's alleging? Let's try and understand that. Let's go down and look at what are the 6 discrepancies. I've tried to call out all the 6 discrepancies on the screen together. Let's try and understand what are these discrepancies. First one is the procurement discrepancy. High flow nasal cannula procured at an inflated rate of 4.5 lakhs compared to the purchase at 1.6 lakhs. Okay. UG skill lab expenses vastly exceed those at Diamond Harbour Medical College. Manipulation of tenders and contracts. Scavenging tender spend sheet manipulation leading to termination of security agency at an odd hour, subsequent awarding of the contract with alleged kickbacks shared among MSVP and King. Corruption related to orthopedic and surgery implants. Another allegation. Corruption in various procurements, corruption in the procurement of medical equipment involving various names that have been taken in this letter. Guest house and business ventures. Alleged financial irregularities in the guest house. Involvement in partnerships, cafes, parking and canteens. It's a whole and sole profiteering, money-making racket that's been alleged in this. Accusations of unauthorized payments, credit card expenses and questionable business dealings. Personnel misconduct, recruitment irregularities for lab technicians, misuse of authority in counseling and unethical practices, allegations against individuals and MSV corruption and improper utilization of stalls, canteens and biomedical waste management. These are the allegations that have been made by Sukanto Majumdar, MP at that time, in October 2023. Now listen to the Deputy Superintendent of the college itself. He spoke with News18 and startling allegations that have been made for him. He is even demanding financial irregularities and demanding the Enforcement Directorate probe this matter. Listen.
पहला जो सबसे पहले मैंने पकड़ा था वो स्टूडेंट लोग को फेल करवाते थे, फेल करा करके उनसे पैसे अच्छे खासे रकम वसूलते थे और जो उनके बात नहीं सुनते थे, कुछ उसमें स्टूडेंट थे जो ये पैसा को कलेक्ट करते थे। फिर उन्हीं जूनियर स्टूडेंट को वो शराब पिलाते थे, उनको पैसे का लालच लत लगाते थे और उनसे आंदोलन भी करवाते थे, क्योंकि आपने देखा होगा कि ये आंदोलन भी काफ़ी होता था वहाँ। अगर जब उनका ट्रांसफ़र हुआ तो ये स्टूडेंट लोग को देख के उन्होंने आंदोलन करा दिया, फिर दोबारा वो प्रिंसिपल के पोस्ट पे आ गए। इसके अलावा बहुत सारा बेआईनी काम, जैसे बॉडी का लेके, जैसे डेड बॉडी का लेके तस्करी करना, जैसे बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट का मैंने बताया था, इसको भी मैंने एक्सपोज किया था। ये 2 कंप्लेन काफ़ी ऊंचा लेवल में गया था, लेकिन ये बहुत मैं बोल रहा हूँ इट्स रियली अनफॉर्चुनेट कि कोई एक्शन नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि मैंने एकदम एक्सपोज किया था विद वीडियो। और जितने टेंडर होते थे, टेंडर में 20% वो ओपन कमीशन खाते थे और उनके 2 खास लोग थे, घुमा फिरा के वही सप्लाई करते थे। उनकी 12 कंपनियां थी, एक टॉवल से लेकर के, एक टूथब्रश से लेकर के, एक इक्विपमेंट से लेकर के, एक कागज़ लेके, एक सर्टिफिकेट प्रिंटिंग, आप जो भी कुछ बोलिए इनके थ्रू होता था।
ये थोड़ा बताएंगे, ये बॉडी पार्ट्स का जो आप बता रहे हैं, ये नेक्सस कैसे काम करता था और ये बांग्लादेश का एंगल क्या है इसमें?
नहीं, ये बांग्लादेश के एंगल बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट में। इसमें क्या था, दो तरह के बॉडी होते हैं, एक क्लेम जिनके वारिश होते हैं और एक लावारिश होते हैं। लावारिश को क्या करते थे, ये कुछ प्राइवेट मेडिकल कॉलेजेस वगैरह में चैनलाइज करके भेज देते थे, और ये 5 बॉडी को, फ्रेश बॉडी वो मांगा था वर्कशॉप के लिए, तो 5 बॉडी को इन्होंने वर्कशॉप के लिए, ईएनटी वर्कशॉप के लिए दे दिया था, बगैर किसी से पूछे। वो वारिस लाज थे, उनके पार्टी को भी इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया, उनका कंसेंट भी नहीं मिला, और जो डिपार्टमेंट में इनका पीएम होना था, फॉरेंसिक मेडिसिन के एचओडी को भी इन्होंने इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया।
संजय रॉय को कभी आपने हॉस्पिटल में आते जाते देखा है या संदीप घोष?
मैंने जब उसका वीडियो देखा और जब मैंने टीवी में देखा तो मेरे जहन में आ गया, मुझे याद आया कि इसको मैंने संदीप घोष के साथ ही देखा था।
देखा था आपने?
हाँ, संदीप घोष।
कहाँ देखा था?
उसके वो बाउंसर रखते थे अपनी सिक्योरिटी के लिए, तो 4 बाउंसर में से ये संजय।
एसआईटी के सामने ये बात बताई है?
मैंने एसआईटी के सामने बताई, लेकिन एसआईटी जो जो मुझसे पूछे मैंने सब बताया, और अभी फिर वो बोले हैं बुलाएंगे।
Well, we have filmmaker, producer, and also sometime actor, but very involved in the society there, active society, the film societies, and also the civil society. Arindam still is with us. Arindam G Namaste. What do you think? What do you think is being expected, is being demanded? You've joined the protests.
In fact, long before I joined the industry for the walk, my wife and myself walked at the night. Then, when it was decided, the first call for the call of taking over the night was done, and even before that, my daughter, wife, and myself, we put together a joint statement on my Facebook page to despise this heinous act, and we just said that we wanted justice as soon as possible. See, this everything, every demand, every protest that is happening is coming out of the mind, out of the heart. It's because people are absolutely, they just want justice, and that is important. We have to accept one thing. It is not about, we have been saying one thing very categorically right from day one. It's not about
We want justice is what Arindam Sil is saying. We'll go across to Arindam Sil in just a bit. We also have Vivek Agnihotri joining us, a filmmaker, and he had made an appeal to people to join him in the protest. Vivek ji, namaste. This is Anan Nariman. Jayan sir, you were out on the streets in Kolkata. What is the sense that you get? You joined the protest today.
Yeah, it so happened I was busy with my film shooting and all that. And then I got call from lots of people from here, and they were saying that when Nirbhaya happened, everybody from all across the country came to Delhi. Why aren't people doing something in Kolkata? And Bengal is very close to my heart. I have spent 4 or 5 years researching, making my film. My parents used to live here. So I said, why not? And impromptu, suddenly yesterday I decided, and I landed here. And once I landed, I made a video. And what is satisfying is that this is now an emotional cause. It's a cause for social justice. Thousands and thousands of people came after my video. And this gave me conviction that if you want, you can create awareness about these things. What can I do? See, as a media professional, you can just report. As a filmmaker, as a storyteller, I can just create awareness. Okay, we cannot pass laws and policies. But one thing, Anand, I want to say a few things very quickly before
Sure.
I leave. Can I?
Sure,
Okay.
please, go ahead, please.
Okay, we have been researching pre-partition Bengal, Direct Action Day, and Noakhali violence and all those kind of things. What happened in Bengal during that time, that's what the call of Direct Action Day, Suharabadri, who's called Butcher of Bengal, so Muslim League, they were in power. They employed the underworld, the mafia, the Nexus, so-called Naxas, and the criminals, with weapons. People who used to deal in drugs and crimes. And since then, that culture never ended. This entire mafia, the criminal lobby got shifted. See, it's not that post-independence they went to Pakistan, they stayed here. Everything got shifted to communist government, from communist government to Congress government, and now finally they are empowered by the current government. Now people are so angry, so emotional about the whole thing because the government tried to cover up. If government had not tried to cover up, it would have been any other case. And the final nail, I think, was for me was when I saw the chief minister coming out and protesting against herself. It's like the police commissioner comes out on the street and protests against thieves. I realized that this is the time of collapse for Bengal. And if you see the socio-political fabric of the state, and what really pains me and troubles me is this is the land where Vande Mataram was written, not
Yes.
Pitram. This is the land where Ma Bharati was conceived as our Devi. Okay, this is the land where women were freed from hundreds of years of Sati Pratha. This is the land where they raised voice against widows' treatment. This is the land where it was written, where this is where Sharad Babu actually wrote all the literature in those medieval times about the liberation and freedom and empowerment of women. And today, where have we brought it? Entire Muslim League rule, rape and crime against women was used as a political weapon. Even now, after 75 years of independence, it is being used against women, rape and crime against women as a political weapon. It is very evident. I think people are fed up. They need justice from this.
What do you think will be justice in this case? I'm asking this as a common man, as a person, and you spoke to the people there. You were there with Swapan Das Gupta and many other civilians also there of eminence, and largely Bengalis. What for them is justice in this case?
Okay, I totally understood. There are two things. Number one, they don't like this dictatorship and arrogance of politicians. Okay, I'm not naming anyone, but they don't like it. You know, instead of covering up, instead of coming out on the street, if the politicians, the local government leadership, if they come out and say, we are sorry, it happened under our guard, it happened under our watch, and we tried to cover it up, we are sorry, we are resigning. If you think we have done anything good for you, you can re-elect us, but we want to repent for this. I think that is what will heal souls and hearts. The most important thing is healing. First time I am seeing in 15, 20 years in such a politically volatile state that this emotion has transcended party lines, ideological lines. It has transcended urban, rural, everything. People don't know what is happening in Bengal right now because everybody is focused on Kolkata. People don't know what's happening in smaller towns and village. A kind of a silent revolution is taking place. And I think this movement should be continued because it's not just a problem of Bengal. It's not that Bengal is another country or we need a separate passport. This is my land. It is my country. But there are two places I know where I cannot make a film is Kashmir and Bengal. So you can imagine what I'm trying to say. Such is law and order here.
Right. Point taken. Vivek Agnihotri ji, thank you very much for making the time and speaking with us. Much appreciated. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I'm going to go back to Arindam Sil, filmmaker, who's also there with the protests, and he says that he's been part of this right even before the larger community came out, even the Filmmakers Association came out. But Arindam ji, let me ask you, somewhere do you believe the outrage of the middle class is because the system has failed them? If I may ask, Manojit Mandal is with us, Abhishek Banerjee is with us, Shazia Ilmi is with us. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Just a quick question with Arindam Sil and then we'll take this conversation forward. Yes, Arindam ji.
There definitely have been lacunas, and it has been not just 1-2 years, it's been going on for 20 years, 30 years, it's there. You know, whatever has been there is going on. There are hardly much of changes. You know, education, health, sports, these are places where you ought to have updated, advanced system. That are places where you cannot have politics. But yes, definitely there have been incredible lacunas. And also the way this case has been handled, perhaps, there have been lacunas about uh, not doing the FIR in time, and so many other things. Now, see, everybody's talking about it. Everybody. So let me not repeat them. It's not to protect anyone. It has to be the fight for the truth. The justice has to be made. If there is one person, if there are four persons, whoever it is behind this, it has to be made. And this has to be exemplar. This is important.
It is important. Abhishek Banerjee, Arindam Sil was talking to us and he was saying that there are cases where in medical colleges and hospitals, the washrooms, the restrooms have been converted into waiting rooms. And somebody's sitting inside, and if somebody needs to use the toilet, they have to ask the other person to go out, and those don't have locks. This is the scenario in some of the medical colleges in Kolkata, prestigious ones or known ones. And we've just put out a letter that highlighted these issues at Arjikar, dated October 2023, written by Sukanta Majumdar to the governor at that time. Plus, we have the ex-deputy superintendent making some very startling claims about what's been going on there under the aegis of Sandeep Ghosh. Abhishek Banerjee.
Yeah, Anand, so the first thing I would start with is a personal touch, because my mother herself used to be a medical student at the college that this Sandeep Ghosh was transferred to. So she tells me that, these medical colleges in Bengal, they have always basically been dens of corruption. I mean, she recounts, maybe 30 years ago when she was a student, maybe even more, that, at that point, they were scared to even look at like the medical stores at the ground floor level, because you never know what you will see. And if you see something happening, then, that person can come after you. So you better not look. So this was always the situation. And now it is coming to light. The other thing that I would say is that I've rarely seen average Bengali society so mobilized. And that's a great thing, as they have done over this incident. What stood out for me was the shady behavior of the hospital administration, the state government, and the Kolkata police. What was the need for the hospital administration to pretend that it was a suicide? Now, after the principal, he supposedly stepped down in a little bit of drama. What was the need to appoint him as the principal within 4 hours of National Medical College? And the third thing is the strange behavior of the Kolkata police. I mean, we have all seen them on social media. They're going around, trying to give out notices to like random people over these small issues. So the whole behavior of the state government, the hospital administration, and the Kolkata police has been so shady that everyone is very angry. And now Mr. Akhtar Ali, whom you quoted just before in the previous segment of the show, his words have gone viral all across, and everybody is now talking. Of course, there will be allegations that will be flying that this woman, this unfortunate student, did she come to know something? Did she come to see something? And that's what my mother tells me as well. When she was a medical student, they were scared to look at certain parts. Just look, because you never know what you will see, and then you don't know what will happen to you next. So never look. So this was the situation even 3 decades ago. So imagine the situation now.
So there is a continuum in terms of the position that's been taken, that what was happening in the past continued despite changing regimes, yes. And it was normalized as this is how it is. So whoever is in power or in government, this will continue. Now, is that fair on the people of Kolkata? Let me ask Manojit Mandal this. See, the alacrity which the Kolkata police showed at cracking down on those who are perhaps spreading misinformation, who are perhaps fanning the flames a little more or stoking unnecessary responses, including some very eminent citizens who came out of concern. That alacrity should have been shown in cracking down on who committed the assault, the rape and the murder, and had that been shown, don't think there would have been such a big outpouring. And then thereafter the vandalism. Manojit Mandal, where do you stand? And then I'll bring in Shazia Almi on this.
I think on both the counts, Kolkata police and the Bengal government, they were absolutely, spot on. They filed FIR on time, arrested the person, the main culprit. Could be many more behind, but the CBI has not done anything. But I want to respond to that, the propagandist filmmaker who pretends himself to be a Louis Buñuel or Godard of the time, but makes all kinds of, artless and uncreative, nauseating films, doesn't know anything about my state, abuses my state from day one. He was referring him as an eminent citizen, but he was flanked by the BJP people laughing, smiling, and that was the nature of protest that you were covering. I wish to debate with him if he doesn't any knows anything
He's not
about the
there.
history of
Vivek
Bengal.
Agnihotri is
He's
not
not
there.
there, but he
Yeah.
cannot abuse my state, the land of Tagore. And he was talking. The other person was talking about the education sector of Bengal. Let me tell him that 3 days back there was central government ranking where my university was topping the chart 3 days back amidst all this. And please know your history of education and then debate on TV. You have enough reasons to be angry. Many of us are angry also. This is an incident which shook our conscience, and including the chief minister, because his chief minister cannot hit the street. It's absolutely bizarre. And we should all point our guns at CBI, and we are thankful to the Supreme Court of India that they have somehow intervened. We have reasonable suspicion that CBI was deliberately leveling tight leaf to give a kind of a de facto political dividends to the BJP. CBI must come out of the truth and act the soonest of what happened, who has done what, in anything brought up, anything of that sort, instead of keeping these speculations right or keep the pot boiling. CBI must come out with the exact truth and as soon as possible. Unfortunately, none of these people, including the media, is actually now pointing at the CBI. Kolkata police could get barely 36 hours to investigate. 36 hours. They nabbed one of the culprits. They arrested him. They questioned so many people. But look at what's happening for the last 7 days. No progress, nothing. Only politics. We have got nothing to do with the normal protesters. But now it is completely hijacked by BJP and their propaganda machinery. Fine,
Right.
we will fight them. They have also got right to protest. No problem with that. But please, for God's sake, stop maligning
Right.
the land of Tagore,
Please yield, Manojit
Gandhi,
Pandit.
and Bankim Chandra.
Well, there are a lot of points where I personally have a lot of disagreements in your argument. But since I will hold my counsel and allow Shazia Almi to rebut that this is now being orchestrated and it's taken, the whole protest has turned political, and the Trinamool and Mamata Banerjee is being unfairly blamed. Yes, Shazia Almi, thank you for your patience. Regret the delay in coming across to you. Please go ahead.
I think Manojit Mandal should ask this of himself and of his party as to how you lower the prestige of your state, how you malign and denigrate your own state, how shamelessly you have allowed the law and order to crumble, how you've allowed miscreants and criminals to run amok. I think you have brought shame to the state of Bengal, and by complete brazenness and turning a blind eye to rampant corruption and the rot that has stemmed in completely. Just now you were talking about what it means to be a Bengali. I mean, it is, and you have no regard for what people go through. This is the doctor, daughter of ours, got raped and killed. And on whose watch was it going on? The chief minister, who was also the health minister and the law minister. And you are praising the Supreme Court. What do you know what Supreme Court has said about you? Supreme Court is torn into your administration, Kolkata police, and the government run by your party. And not just that, there is a CISF deployed to protect and ensure protection and safety at ARG car. It's a matter of great shame, my friend, that you still can speak sanctimoniously about the pride of Bengal. I mean, and you called it propaganda. So for you, it's propaganda what's going on. But the Congress party is distraction. But for people of Bengal and of this country, it is a case of, not just corruption, but the criminal nexus between people who pretend to be doctors, police, criminals, and all of that. And Mamata Banerjee goes out and protests against herself. What could be more shameful than that? So please stop sounding so, ludicrous and sanctimonious and talk about the pride of Bengal and do not. You have brought it down. You are responsible for this. And I think it is so shameful that the parents of the girls still are being treated badly, that they are not satisfied, that FIR that was registered after 18 hours and the police that showed up after the girl was pronounced dead, you could not even write homicide. You wrote unnatural death. So clearly there is a lot that you're trying to protect. It is Mamata Banerjee who is known for protecting criminals. This is not for the first time. And I really want to salute on your channel the former Deputy Superintendent Akhtar Ali ji for standing up to this. There are very few people who can do that. And I hope he's protected and looked after, because he's stood up against corruption. And just see the kind of corruption. I mean, there is a organ harvesting going on, the commissions are being taken, money is being made of overselling unclaimed bodies. I mean, this is straight out of some horror movie. This is horror of horrors. And it took a ghastly, beastly murder for us to learn of this, despite the fact that the inquiry should have happened a long time back. So please, Manojit Mandal, spare us.
Okay, let me just quickly bring back.
Don't talk about Bengali pride right now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. We would like to be proud of the Bengali pride, and like he said, Vande Mataram came from there, Ma Bharati came from there. There are SP Mukherjee, Shama Prasad Mukherjee is from there, not just Rabindranath Thakur, but also Narendranath Datta is from there, that is Swami Vivekanand, Sri Ramakrishna is from there. So there is a huge, long list, and those people who effected a lot of social reforms. In fact, the hospital that is named after Radha Govinda Kar, Radha Govinda Kar himself, along with Sister Nivedita, went about treating people, asking for money from the wealthy, and trying to go and give care and also some money to the poor in Bengal. This was during the British times of Bengal. The legacy of RG Kar itself today stands tarnished because what this medical college was up to, or people inside there allegedly were up to. I've got one question with Arindam Sil, and then I'll come back to you in just a minute to our guests. Arindam ji, what do you think is going to calm these protests, because they don't seem to be abating, political or otherwise? Today we saw a huge number of students coming out. No political party was involved there when they walked from CBI headquarters to Swasthya Bhavan. Yes, Arindam ji.
First and foremost, of course, the culprits have to be nabbed. And if there has been any lacuna on part of the hospital and its authority or authorities, they have to be brought down to justice. There are so many things that are coming up. Even in your channel just now, things were being discussed. And if all of these are true, then God save. I mean, there has to be a drastic step taken. And I'm sure that it would be taken. I'm absolutely confident about that it will have to be taken, and it will be taken.
But these drastic steps should have been taken before the Kolkata High Court, before the Honorable Supreme Court stepped in. Abhishek Banerjee, true, false, agree, disagree?
Yeah, so Anand, what I think is that these protests have now, yes, of course, they are about justice for this victim, but I think the whole thing has become a much larger cause. I think at this point, people are really unhappy at that overall condition of law and order in the state, because in this era of smartphones and all, people are seeing that there's one state which is becoming the exception in everything. I mean, there's a small panchayat poll, 50 people are dying, there's rampant booth capturing. I mean, which era are we living in? We are living in the 1990s Bihar sort of era. That's the situation, and people are just unhappy. You have these massive corruption going on at these government hospitals. You can't hold a basic election, and first of all, one thing that I should point out is that the main accused in this case is a so-called civic volunteer. I'm not even sure what that is. They act like police, they go around like police, but they are not police. Nobody really understands how these people are appointed, who these people are, and most people believe that these are basically party people. If you're close to the party, you get hired or something like that, because these are not actual police. So, and even during the panchayat election, by the way, as far as I remember, the Supreme Court had categorically said that these so-called civic volunteers should not be doing any security work because nobody trusts them. But still, these civic volunteers were used for so-called security all across. And nobody really knows who these civic volunteers are.
The important point is it was not just one person. There were many who were involved. None of those people have yet been named. Now we'll have to see how long before the CBI gets into action mode and gets something. And does it even have enough evidence, or is largely what is going to be produced going to be circumstantial, because a lot of it was destroyed in the vandalism, in the botched up in 36 hours that the Kolkata police was there, and also the renovation work that was undertaken by Sandeep Ghosh. Some things don't add up and some things look very, very messy, and they don't look very good for the health minister and the chief minister of the state. And very respectfully I say this because there's a lot expected, politics aside. Mamata Banerjee is one of the tallest leaders, and she has borne the brunt of apathy and misgovernance. And to see this current state of affairs, it is regrettable. It is regrettable. I'll pause there. I thank everybody. Thank you very much. We are compelled to take a short break at this point. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we shift spotlight to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who's in Eastern Europe. His first visit in 45 years to Poland, and from Warsaw, he's going to make his way to Ukraine, Kiev. The only global leader to land up in Moscow just last month, and the very next month, he will be in Ukraine. Stay with us.